Today we're going to continue this packet. If y'all have the worksheets, it's the packet 1 that has to do with proportion and ratio. And yesterday we covered the first 4 pages. Today we're going to continue the rest of this packet. You'll have the information you need to complete this packet and packet number 2 that I sent you on rate and unit rate. So today, the 2 things that we're going to cover are unit rate and how to solve a proportion. Okay, unit rate. If you'll remember that unit, it's not the definition, but unit means one thing. Okay? Unit means one thing. So if you say someone drove 60 miles per hour, what this looks like as rate is 60 miles in 1 hour. Okay? And a number over 1 is the unit rate. Okay, so this is unit rate. If you can get the denominator to 1, that's the unit rate. So here's an example of why you need to be able to do this. Let's say 3 pounds of apples sell for, let's say, $9. Okay, so it costs $9 for 3 pounds. How much would it cost for 1 pound? Okay, if 3 pounds of apples cost $9, I want $3. And the reason that you got that is you divided here, 9 divided by, we always knew that this is divide, right? Mm-hmm. Divided by 3 gives us what 1 pound would cost. Okay, so when you get to the 1, then we know that's the unit rate, $3. $3 a pound, okay? So let's say somebody traveled 275 miles in 5 hours. So what I want to know is what's the unit rate? Okay, that means how many miles would they go in 1 hour? Because that would be how fast we are per hour, right? So 275 in 5 hours equals how much in 1 hour? So what did we do here? From here to here, what did we do? Come on, it was 5 and now it's 1. What mathematical operation happened here? Come on.
Dividing?
Yes, by?
Time.
5, good.
5.
We divided by 5, so in a fraction, we have to do the same thing up here, right? Divide by 5. Did you get 55?
Mm-hmm.
So that means if he drove a constant speed and went 275 miles in 5 hours, then what speed was he driving? The speed he was driving is how many miles he goes per 1 hour. 55 miles per hour. You can use this. The vocabulary word for this is per, P-E-R, okay? 55 miles per hour. That's the speed he was going, because this is called unit rate, where we take what happened and bring it down to the denominator being 1. Am I making sense? I feel like I'm kind of out there.
A little bit.
Little bit. Okay, we'll keep going.
I think you're doing fine. It's just by figuring out what we're going to divide it by. Yeah.
Well, guess what? This moves into solving proportions. So watch this. I'm going to use the exact same problem.
Yeah, just to divide what you divided.
Here we go.
Actually, is the rate the bottom number under the 275?
No,
is that
this
called?
is the rate.
Oh, okay.
This is the unit. Well, this is the rate.
Okay. So
This
we're
is a
always
unit rate.
So we're always going to divide by that bottom number is always going to be the same. So
Yes.
that's how we figure out what number we're going to divide by.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, now a reminder before I finish this, okay? A reminder, yesterday we talked about proportions. And the definition of proportions was 1 fraction equal to only 1 fraction. No extra stuff. This is a fraction. And this is a fraction. Okay, proportion is 1 fraction equal to 1 fraction only, not any extra stuff. And if we have a true proportion, we found out yesterday that if we multiply the top times this bottom, we will get exactly the same answer as if we multiply this times this bottom. A true proportion will work out where the product here equals the product here, always in a true proportion. Okay? Now keep that in mind. This is a proportion. Here's 1 fraction equal to 1 fraction, but we don't know what that is, okay? This takes you into the unit rate and solving proportions, okay? Now, the way you set up a proportion, and we're going to do some of those. The way you set up a proportion, you can set this fraction up any way you want to. So I decided I was going to put the miles here and I was going to put the hours down here. And then you put the equal sign. You have to follow suit. You have to follow the pattern here. So if I had hours on the bottom, I have to put hours on the bottom, okay? And our X is going to be how many miles, okay? Now, that being said, you could have set this up if you wanted to. You could have said it takes 5 hours to go 275 miles. Just like I told you, you can set up the first fraction any way you want to, but you have to follow suit when you put your second fraction in. Hang on with me. This seems kind of unjointed. Just stay with me, okay? So I have hours on top. So what I'm wanting to know is how far I went in 1 hour. That's what I'm asking. And then I put the miles on the bottom. Do y'all understand this part? Setting up a proportion. There's 1 fraction of all the stuff that I know. And then I'm going to set up the other fraction following the pattern, and it will contain what I don't know. Okay, everybody's going, okay, I'm hanging on. I'm hanging on, but I'm not there yet. Now, when you have your proportions set up, and we will do some examples until you guys understand. If I want this to be a true proportion, then this has to be true, correct? Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do, and I'll put it up here because it gets too. So I multiply this times this. It doesn't matter which one you multiply first. So 275 times 1 has to equal this, 5x. Y'all see? And you all know how to solve this, right? What do I need to do? To get x by itself, what do I have to do? Divide by 5, divide by 5. And so, since I don't have room, x is going to equal, when I do this, x is by itself, and I have 55. And so that is what goes in the x place, x miles. Now that you've seen an overview of everything, let's do some problems right off your worksheet. Did you get this? Okay. Unit rate means,
I like the way you do your YouTube because I can re-look at
like I do the what?
your YouTube. Like if I don't get it, I can go to YouTube.
Oh, yes.
That's right. You do a good job.
All right. So let's look at this page, and I'll end up probably just giving you the answers here. Okay. So everybody look at this worksheet. It says Hannah and Nancy visit the farmer's market to buy pineapples. The graph below represents the number of pineapples and their corresponding cost. It's like, okay, notice at the bottom, they're going to buy pineapples, and here's a graph. Now the bottom part, this 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10, that represents the number of pineapples. And the y-axis up here represents how much it cost. Okay, so let's look at where point A is. Do you see point A? Okay, now if you go straight down, we're talking about 7 pineapples, and go back to A, and go the other way, $14. So it says, if I'm going to buy 7 pineapples, it's going to cost me $14. Do y'all understand that? So tell me how much 6 pineapples are going to cost. $12, because you started at the 6, go up to where it meets the line that is the graph of the cost, and go over to the cost, $12. So now, one of the questions, yes, A question says find the unit rate. Now, what does unit rate mean? Unit? 1, right? 1. So when they say the unit rate, they want to know, what does 1 pineapple cost? $2, okay? Because we're going to look on the graph for unit, which is 1, the unit cost, we go up to the line that is the graph of pineapples, and we move over to $2. So the question to A is, what is the unit rate represented on the graph? It's $2 for 1 pineapple. Let's go ahead and write all that in there, not just $2, but say $2 for 1 pineapple. Let's go to B. What does point A represent? Okay, point A on the graph represents what? The cost of 7 pineapples, right? 7, we just looked at that. 7 goes up to A, and the cost is $14. Okay, that's what point A represents. Now, they ask you on the third question, how many pineapples can Nancy buy for $8. You go straight to $8. Let's go to $8. You go over to the graph of the pineapples. When you hit the line, go straight down. How many pineapples can they buy for $8? 4. So, yeah, you just say 4 pineapples for $8. Now it says, what is the cost for 2 pineapples? Find 2 on your graph, 2 pineapples, not $2. Find 2 pineapples, go up to the line of the graph, and go to the left. Oh, wait a minute. What did it say? What is the cost of 2 pineapples? Okay, so we need dollars. So go to 2 pineapples, go up to the line, and go to the left. It costs $4. Do you see how the graph works? Okay, let's see what the last one says. How much will Hannah need to pay for 5 pineapples? So the number of pineapples are on the bottom. So we go to 5 pineapples, go up to the line of the graph. Wherever it hits the graph, go to the left. How much is it going to cost for 5 pineapples? $10, okay? Do y'all see how to use the graph?
Can we go back to B?
B.
I put units. So I don't know if I read that right. What does point A represent on the graph? Units.
You don't have to say units.
The graph says cost in dollars.
A represents the cost of 7. It says that the cost of 7 pineapples is $14. Does the back say unit? No, it says 7 pineapples cost $14.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I don't have that packet.
Okay, this one should have come to you yesterday in the email. I will double check after this and make sure that you were included on that email. But it should have come on the email, and it would have been entitled, no, this one I sent it to you earlier. Nope, sent it to you yesterday. I sent it to you yesterday. I sent you 2 emails, so you might check for these, Brittany. I know you're really good at that. And if you still don't find them, let me know. I'll just shoot them to you again. But
Yeah, I haven't printed mine out, but I'm checking my emails and I cannot find it.
okay. All right. I will text back and forth to you and make sure I have the correct email, but it's the same one that I send your Zoom invite to. So we will check and see. The title of this one would have been Ratio and Proportion Packet 1. And then there's one right after that, before noon, that said Unit Rate Packet 2. But that's okay, Brittany. I will check just as soon as we get off. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. So now let's move to solving proportions, okay? There's a lot of practice on this because you will use this so much. Okay, solving proportions, we're going to do number 1. 2 over R, and in this case, they don't tell you what you're dealing with, they just give you numbers. Now, when you're solving a proportion, the first thing you need to do is make sure that it meets the definition of proportion. Make sure there's nothing extra like +4, okay? Nothing extra, just one fraction equal to another fraction. If it is a proportion and they want you to solve it, they want you to solve it so it's true, okay? So what we know about a true proportion is if we multiply here, we will get exactly the same answer as if we multiply here. So we can say 2 times 18, 36. And again, you could have multiplied here first. It doesn't matter which one you multiply first. You just know that they're equal to each other. So when we multiplied here, we got 36. When we multiply here, we get 12R. We want to solve the proportion, which means we want to know what R equals. What do you need to do here? If I want the R by itself, I need to divide by, what do I want to get rid of?
The 12.
Yes, because I want this to be all by itself at the bottom. So I have to get rid of this. Right now it's multiplied. I'm going to divide by 12, and I have to do the same thing on the other side. This 12 divided by 12, it will always be 1, and 1R is the same as just R. 36 divided by 12 is 3. So in this case, on this page, you will say R equals 3. Okay? Now, I'm not going to do it today. There's a shortcut to this.
Well, I did the shortcut yesterday.
You did the shortcut yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, if you know the shortcut, I'm fine. But those who have never seen this, I don't want to confuse. Okay, so tomorrow I will give you the shortcut.
So we divide the 36 over the 12?
Yes, because whatever you do to this side has to be exactly the same on both sides to keep this equation balanced. So whatever you choose here has to go here.
Can we do number 8? I didn't get that one right.
Let's do number 8.
Thank you.
Number 8 says 27 over 15 equals 72 over A. Oh, don't want that yet. Okay, the first thing you do is check it and make sure that we have a proportion. Okay, do we have a proportion? Is it 1 fraction equal to 1 fraction? I need to hear you. Guys, is this a proportion?
No,
If I have 1 fraction equal to 1 fraction, is that the definition of a proportion? Yes.
Oh.
Yes. 1 fraction equal to 1 fraction is the definition of a proportion. So you always have to check that first, because this cross multiplying here won't work if it's not a proportion. So here we go. We can multiply whichever way you want to first. 27 times A equals, it will equal exactly the same amount as 72 times 15. This is true of a proportion. Are there questions on this? Is this bothering you?
yes.
Yes, what's your question?
So that is equal.
Yes, it's equal. A proportion is 1 fraction equal to another fraction. So when you cross multiply, those products or those multiplications are equal to each other also.
Okay, well, I don't understand how 27A is equal to 1,080.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Because of our definition of proportions, it says you can be sure that this will be true if what you're looking at is a proportion. So if what you're looking at is 1 fraction equal to 1 fraction, then they have told us from a long time ago in ancient times that they figured out that the top times the bottom will always equal the top times the bottom.
Okay.
So we took 27 times A, and that's equal to 72 times 15, which is this. And in order to solve, I need to know what A is. So I divide by 27 and divide by 27. Hang on with me, okay, Sherry?
Yes, ma'am.
27 divided by 27 is 1. I have 1A here. And so to make this a true proportion, A has to equal 40. So a lot of quiet.
Where's on number 3? Are you finished?
Number 3, I want to make sure you guys get the process here. So Sherry, did that clear up anything?
Well, I was just looking at it and I'm like, well, I know what you're saying, but maybe I was overthinking it.
You have a habit of doing that.
I know, I'm a bad girl.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You try really hard. Hi, Rachel. Nice to see you. How was your trip to Dallas?
Oh my gosh, I'll tell you about it when I come back to class.
Okay.
It's super long.
Recording and then we'll visit, okay?
Uh-huh.
We'll visit later, okay?
Okay.
All right, number 3. Number 3 says 16 over 6, this is 1 fraction, equal to 3D over 9. Now they're telling us 1 fraction equal to 1 fraction meets the definition of a proportion. So we know that if we have a proportion, I can multiply these two things together, and that product will always equal this one. Okay, always true with proportions, always true. I think this will become more clear when we start to do the word problems, like going to the grocery store. Okay, so here we go. 16 times 9. I guess I always do top right, top left to right bottom, I guess. It doesn't matter which way you go. Equals the other way. 18D. Y'all see, is this what bothered you?
Yeah.
So it's 3D times 6, so 18 Ds. Okay, we're okay there. And so again, this is why I taught you how to solve equations. We want the D by itself. So what do I have to do?
Divided by 1.
By 18.
We divide by what we want to get rid of, which is 18. Divide by 18. 18 divided by itself gives you 1. 1D is what we have left on this side. And
It'll be 8.
I heard somebody say something. 8.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in order to make this a true proportion, D has to be 8. A little bit more. Sort of. This will be the process every single time you have a proportion. Every single time. Now, I'm not going to move on to something else until you all get proportions really well. Because the proportions. Part of doing, word problems. Okay, the next page is exactly the same stuff, more practice. Next page is exactly the same thing, but you will want to use your calculator because it involves decimals, but the process is exactly the same. And I don't mind working some off that page. Then I want you to save page 9, the one that looks like this. Save that. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. This is it. Save that for tomorrow. This one. Save this one for tomorrow. Okay? We'll talk about that one tomorrow. It's not hard. It's the same process, but it looks a little different. I want you to go to the last page on solving proportions. The last page. Let's look, how are we going to deal with a word problem that involves comparison? So here's how it works. Isaac and his friends pitched 4 Trekker tents in 60 minutes. How long will it take them to pitch 5 tents? Are you with me, Brenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
So what you're going to do in these problems is you look to find out what 2 things are they talking about. They're talking about the number of tents and minutes, right? So what we're going to do is set up a fraction with the things that we know. Okay? So here's what I know. I know 4 tenths. Okay, I'm going to put tenths out here. You don't want to put a T because that's like you're solving for it. So tenths, I'm going to put on top. I chose that. 60, and I'm going to put here. Now, the reason I'm writing this information out to the side is because I can set this up any way I want to. I could put the minutes on top and the tenths on the bottom. But whatever I do, you need to specify here because the other part of the proportion, you're going to set up in the same pattern. And the second one will involve an X or an unknown. Okay, what are they asking? Look at the bottom. What are they saying?
They're asking how long it.
How long? That's exactly right. So they're asking for minutes, right? We don't know minutes. So on the minutes part, I'm going to put the X because we don't know that. Did they say how many tenths? 5. Okay. This is how this works now. Okay. This is a proportion because it has 1 fraction equal to 1 fraction. So let's multiply whichever way you want to. Let's say 300, 60 times 5 is 300, equals whatever I get going the other way. 4 times X. So in order to find out what X is, what do I need to do? Divide by 4. Divide by 4. Because I need to get rid of this to put the X by itself. 1X is the same as X. You have to do the same thing on both sides. If you divide it by 4 here, you have to do it here. 4 times 6, 7.
So 35 minutes out of 5 tenths.
Yes. Now you look up here. What was X? X was minutes. this is why you write stuff on your problem. X was the minutes, okay? And so now that it's a written problem, your answer is X equals 75 minutes. I want you to use your units now. The units are feet or minutes or,
Yeah, 'cause if you don't write it on your test, you get it wrong, even though it's right.
you are
Is there
exactly
some
right.
way you have to write it?
No.
No, so it's 75 minutes.
I just want you to, the main reason I'm forcing this is because during the written problems, when they get longer or more involved, then by the time you get to the end, you don't even know what you found. You just found 16. Well, is it 16 ballerina slippers or 16 crocodiles or 16 Christmas gifts? No, you have to decide and remember what you're finding. And sometimes if you go look at the end of the written problem, it will tell you what you're looking for. Okay, there's a good hint there. Does this make a little more sense when we put it into real world stuff?
Yeah.
Let's do one more off that page. Pick whatever you want.
Let's try 4. That's
4.
A lot of numbers.
Okay, and it has some decimals, okay? So I will read. Derek uses a 52-inch flat steel bar that weighs 10.4 pounds to make a rack in the garage. Find the weight of a 67-inch steel bar. So what are the two things that they're comparing here? I need two things.
The inches of 52 inches and 67 inches.
So the inches of the bar
And the pound.
and the weight, okay? This is true. So you can put it either way. I just do this because that's the way I read it. Okay, so the first problem or the first fraction that I come up with are the things that I know for sure is true. They told me in here, 52 inches weighs 10.4 pounds. They told me that's the true. So 52 inches equals 10.4 pounds. Now, we're going to compare that with something that we don't know. So what part of these did they tell us? And what part don't we know? We don't know.
Inches, they told us that 67 inches, then you then divide it by the X.
Yes, that's exactly right. In the problem, they said, okay, so how much does a 67-inch weigh? So I'm going to put the inches, 67 inches is here with the 52 inches. They have to follow suit. And we don't know the weight because they're asking us, how much does that weigh? When we come up with that, it's a proportion, 1 fraction equal to 1 fraction. So write this out. 67 times 10.4 696.8 equals the other way. 52x. Remember that you have to do the same thing to both sides to keep it balanced.
My number's wrong.
Did you get a 7?
I got 13.4 equals x.
10.2 instead of 10.4.
Oh, sorry.
You're okay? You found your mistake, Brandy?
I think so.
Okay, go ahead and try. I'll give you some time. The rest of you, I've just got a number. What is it?
13.4
What's 13.4?
pounds.
Look and see where your x is in the problem. Look here. Where did we put the x?
In pounds.
Pounds, right? So the answer we found was the pounds, right? The answer we found was the weight. It wasn't the inches. Do y'all see? You have to keep your brain in the problem to find out what we're finding. Did your answer come out 13.4?
I put, 10.2, so, on the top. on the
Oh,
bottom.
instead of 10.4.
Yes.
Okay, that'll mess it up a little.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deborah, what page are you on?
I am on the last page of packet 1, I think. Yeah, packet 1. This is the only page in that packet that has word problems on it.
I might not have that one.
You don't, Rachel, because I only sent it to my remote people. You'll get it when,
Oh,
if you want me to send it to your house today, if you're going to use it, I will send it. But if you're not going to work on it till tomorrow, you can just get it in class, whichever one you
I'll
want.
get it tomorrow.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
are we okay with you trying some of this stuff? Now, remember, tomorrow, I'm going to do that one page I told you to wait on. And we will not move from proportions until you have a better understanding. Now, go to the next section. This is packet 2. And the reason I'm moving on is because we're solving these with proportions exactly like we just got finished. So there is nothing new except their words. Okay, and when you do this, notice at the top it says unit rate. And unit means 1, right? So when we find unit rate, we want to find over 1. I know this is getting to be a long video. I want you to see part of it and start trying. But again, you'll have some time tomorrow. So here's the first one. I'm going to do number 1 on that page. It says, write the rate and then the unit rate for each phrase. I'm going to go ahead and write this out. I want to go slow for you because it's all new. This would be nice, 8 inches of snow.
No, Miss Deborah.
No. Sherry.
It's snowing now. And over the weekend, we got like 5 or 6 inches.
Sherry lives in Wyoming.
Yes.
I
Yes.
get Wyoming and Montana mixed up. That's Wyoming. Okay. And she decided it was really nice for a while. Now she's tired of the snow.
Well,
Okay.
we get snow like everybody gets rain. We don't get rain. We get snow all the time.
And I remember when you first moved there, oh, it's so pretty.
It is so pretty. I'm just tired of it.
Okay, the first thing they want is rate. Now, they didn't say anything about unit rate yet. And so all you have to do is set up a proportion. And you say 80 inches in 10 days. You're just going to write what they told you in a fraction form, okay? That's the rate that they want. Now they want the unit rate. Unit means 1. And so what they want to know is how many inches in 1 day. Unit rate is 1. So they said, if the truth that you told me is this place got 80 inches in 10 days, The unit rate is, so how much of that was in one day? Okay, now you guys will see a shorter way when we're doing unit rate. And Brandy, you talked about it earlier. And this is okay. But I want to make sure that you understand the proportion part. When you have a proportion set up like this, then we're going to do this times this equals this times this, okay? So we have, I'm going to put it over here so we can put the rate here. Okay, so I've got 80 times 1 is 80 equals 10x. To get the x by itself, I'm going to divide by 10, divide by 10, so x equals 8. Now what was x? Inches, okay? And so the unit rate I'm going to say is 10 inches in 1 day, okay? They want to know if you got this much over this many days, how much did you get every day? And in unit rate, Brandy, you talked to me about, you said, if you get 80 in 10 days, just divide by 10. Mhm. And in unit rate, that's perfectly fine to do if you see that. Unit rate. So the rate is what they give us. The unit rate is where you change it over 1. Are we good? Sort of? Mary's going.
I'm lost.
Okay, I'm going to go. On this, in this packet 2, you can try pages 1, 2, 3. I want to hit page 4 and 5 in this packet. I want to do that tomorrow also. So 1, 2, and 3 in this packet, try those. Pages 1, 2, and 3 in this one. And then the other packet, you should be able to do everything except that one page. Was it page 5 or 6 or something that I told you to wait on? It was page 9. We're going to wait on this page. You are correct. Page 9. We are going to wait on this page tomorrow. If you number your pages, it's page 9. But I think I've filled your heads with enough for today. Questions, remote people?
No.
Okay, that was Brittany, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're fine for right now.
Yes. I just have to go buy ink for my printer and then I can print everything out.
Okay, did you get it in your, did you find it or I need to send it?
The first one that we were doing, I don't have that one at all.
Do
But I
you
have the other one.
The one that says unit rate?
Yes, I believe
Okay.
so.
I will send the proportion and ratio to you.
Okay, thank you.
Rachel, you're going to wait until tomorrow when you come to class. Is that correct? Okay, and Sherry?
I have questions, but it's on something else. I'm gonna wait till you stop the recording.
That's perfectly fine. What I'm going to do is end this video, but I will stay on the Zoom for you, Sherry.
Okay, thank you.
The rest of y'all, unless you have questions, I'm finished.
Okay,
You know, I
I
love
have a
you.
lot of questions.
we love you too.
See you tomorrow. Oh, remote people. I will not be in class. Did I tell you I will not be in class on Friday? No Zoom, no nothing. I'm not teaching on Friday. I'm going to a funeral.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
All right. Okay. I will see you tomorrow.